Bullying is a very real risk to your business and to your team, both on an individual basis in terms of the team collectively, and then ultimately your business's ability to thrive is at threat when you have bullying. As a starting point as an employee, you have a duty of care. The law expects that you take proactive steps, reasonable steps to identify hazards in your workplace and to remove them. Having an environment that is healthy and safe is just the starting point of being compliant and building a successful organisation. So it's important to understand that there are risks of breaches. You can actually find yourself in a situation where you're having to defend yourself in the eyes of the court around the way people have been allowed to be treated. And then obviously it's about health and well-being. Human beings can't thrive, human beings can't be at their best and kick serious goals for your organisation if they're not healthy, if they're not well. So obviously we understand that there are physical threats to people in the workplace, but there are also psychological consequences of some behaviours that we do need to take very seriously if what we want to do is to see people be at their best, see them not only perform, but to grow and to evolve with your organisation. It's entirely unlikely if people don't feel treated with a common level of decency or respect that they're going to be highly engaged, that they're going to want to be there. So think for yourself about when you've seen people minimise their contribution. Often it's because they're not happy. Often it's because they're withdrawing. And I'll share with you a story of one client I worked with by the name of Michael. Michael was the general manager of an organisation who had a very big job and he was under a lot of pressure. Unfortunately for him, the organisation brought in a new CEO who lacked common decency in terms of how to engage with not only his senior leadership team, but his entire workforce. And it was very evident soon after his appointment that his approach was starting to have an impact, detrimental impact to the psychological well-being of Michael. So some of the symptoms that I observed is that, he would become physically shaken in an executive meeting if challenged. Now this is not the way he would typically behave. When I had known him previously, he responded well to challenge and to questions. But he had lost confidence, he had lost emotional resilience, and he started to report to me that it was difficult to get out of the car. It was difficult to actually walk into the building, let alone function, let alone think clearly, let alone be awesome at his job. I spent some time with him and including visiting a psychologist to really help him to understand what steps he could take to regain a sense of control, to regain mental health in the context of an environment that was extremely damaging for him. The good news story is that the board understood these consequences and understood that a very senior and experienced and valued member of the team was not only harmed through these experiences, but wasn't able to be at his best and wasn't able to lead the organisation in the way that he otherwise could have. So the board did take the courageous decision to remove the CEO from that organisation. And again, the good news story is that Michael was able to make a substantial, significant recovery and go back to being the high-performing person that he once had been.